massive trove of documents revealing how the uber-rich are hiding their money and assets in offshore accounts.
In a world where some struggle for their next meal, others feast on the fruits of corruption. These shadowy figures aren't just criminals. They're world leaders sworn to serve their nations, company directors, and celebrities who secretly stash away billions. Through complex webs of offshore accounts, shell companies, and hidden trusts, they exploit the shadow economy. This isn't just about greed. It's a global game where the rich and powerful play by their own rules, keeping their wealth out of sight and out of reach. Join us as we uncover how they achieve this. But before that, let's talk about an incident that shook the world in 2021. 1. The Pandora Papers. In October 2021, the world was rocked by the release of the Pandora Papers, one of the largest and most significant leaks of financial documents in history. This massive trove of data exposed the hidden wealth, tax avoidance, and in some cases, money laundering of some of the world's most powerful and influential people. The leak shed light on how the global elite conceal their assets through a complex web of offshore accounts, shell companies, and secret trusts. The Pandora Papers are a collection of almost 12 million confidential documents, including emails, images, spreadsheets, and other records that reveal the hidden financial dealings of world leaders, politicians, billionaires, celebrities, and business leaders. The International Consortium of Investigative Journalists (ICIJ), in collaboration with over 600 journalists from 150 media outlets across 117 countries, analyzed these documents over 2 years to uncover the secretive financial practices employed by the rich and powerful. The leak exposed the offshore dealings of over 400 politicians from around the world, including 35 current and former country leaders, and over 100 billionaires, celebrities, and business executives. The documents originated from 14 offshore services firms that assist clients in setting up and managing offshore companies and trusts in tax havens like the British Virgin Islands, Seychelles, Hong Kong, Belize, and others. The Pandora Papers were leaked to the ICIJ by an anonymous source. The sheer volume of data, totaling approximately 2.94 terabytes, included documents spanning from the 1970s to 2020. The ICIJ and its partners sifted through this vast amount of information, cross-referencing and verifying the data to ensure its authenticity and accuracy. The meticulous process involved analyzing emails, invoices, incorporation documents, and compliance reports to piece together the hidden financial networks. The Pandora Papers implicated numerous high-profile individuals, unveiling the extent to which they have gone to shield their wealth from public scrutiny and tax authorities. Some notable names include King Abdullah II of Jordan. The Pandora Papers leak exposed King Abdullah II of Jordan's extensive hidden wealth, revealing that he secretly owned a real estate empire worth over $100 million in the United States and the United Kingdom. These assets were acquired through a network of offshore companies registered in tax havens. The documents detailed properties in upscale areas of London, Malibu, and other high-value locations. The revelation raised questions about the source of the funds used for these acquisitions and the transparency of the king's financial dealings. Despite Jordan's significant economic challenges and calls for reform, these revelations highlighted a contrast between the country's public economic struggles and the personal wealth of its monarch. Tony Blair. Tony Blair, the former British Prime Minister, was implicated in the Pandora Papers for saving hundreds of thousands of pounds in property taxes through a strategic purchase involving an offshore company. Blair and his wife, Shakira, bought an office building in London in 2017. To avoid paying substantial stamp duty, they acquired the property through a company registered in the British Virgin Islands. This maneuver, while legal, was criticized for exploiting tax loopholes to benefit from significant savings. The disclosure in the Pandora Papers fueled discussions about the ethical implications of using offshore structures to circumvent tax liabilities and the broader issue of tax fairness. Uhuru Kenyatta. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta and his family were prominently featured in the Pandora Papers, revealing their ownership of a network of offshore companies. One such company was found to hold assets valued at over $30 million. The documents disclosed that these offshore entities were used to manage and hide substantial investments and properties across various jurisdictions. The revelations were particularly striking, given Kenya's ongoing struggles with corruption and poverty. Andrej Babish. Andrej Babish, the former Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, was exposed in the Pandora Papers for using offshore companies to acquire a $22 million estate in the south of France. Babish utilized a network of offshore entities to facilitate the purchase of this luxury property, circumventing regulations and potentially avoiding substantial taxes. The documents revealed that Babish's investment strategy involved complex financial arrangements through shell companies based in tax havens. This revelation was significant given Babish's public position and his previous criticism of corruption and financial misconduct. The exposure raised concerns about the transparency of Babish's financial dealings and the extent to which political leaders can exploit offshore systems to amass wealth. Nagib Seif. Nagib Seif is a prominent Egyptian billionaire and businessman, known for his significant contributions to the telecommunications industry through his leadership of Orascom Investment Holding. With a net worth in the billions, Seif is renowned for his opulent lifestyle and high-profile investments. He has been involved in various philanthropic efforts and is a well-known figure in global business circles. The Pandora Papers revealed that Seif utilized offshore companies to manage and shield his vast wealth. The documents detailed his ownership of luxury real estate and investments in offshore entities registered in tax havens. This use of offshore structures allowed Seif to effectively avoid higher taxes and maintain financial privacy. The revelation was particularly striking given Seif's public persona as a successful businessman and philanthropist. Shakira. Shakira, the internationally renowned Colombian singer and songwriter, was another high-profile name revealed in the Pandora Papers. Known for her global hits and vibrant personality, Shakira has built a successful career as one of the most famous Latin American artists in the world. However, the Pandora Papers uncovered a different side to her public image, revealing that she used offshore companies and tax havens to manage her extensive wealth. The leaked documents indicated that Shakira owned 3 offshore companies in the British Virgin Islands, which were used to manage the rights to her music and other intellectual properties. By using these offshore entities, Shakira was able to reduce her tax liabilities in Spain, where she resides and has faced previous accusations of tax evasion. All right, guys, it's time for our subscribers pick. It's no news that the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, was also implicated in the Pandora paper leak. The leak exposed a network of companies and trusts linked to Putin's associates, including Sergei Roldugin, a cellist and close friend of the president. Roldugin was found to have controlled offshore companies holding hundreds of millions of dollars. These assets include investments in various industries and luxury properties, highlighting how Putin's inner circle utilized offshore structures to conceal significant wealth. The revelations were particularly controversial, given Putin's public stance against corruption and his administration's frequent criticism of Western financial systems. What makes this surprising is that the leak brought to light the contrast between Putin's public image and the private financial activities of his associates, raising serious questions about the source of their wealth and the effectiveness of anti-corruption measures in Russia. I mean, who would have thought that Vladimir Putin could also be hiding illicit wealth? Share your thoughts about this in the comments section. The revelations from the Pandora Papers sparked outrage and demands for accountability worldwide. The exposed individuals faced intense scrutiny and criticism for their use of offshore structures to hide wealth, avoid taxes, and, in some cases, engage in corrupt activities. The leak reignited debates on global inequality, tax justice, and the need for greater transparency in the financial system. Several governments and authorities launched investigations into the individuals named in the leak. The Pandora Papers brought into sharp focus the concept of the shadow economy, a parallel financial system where vast sums of money are moved and hidden away from regulatory oversight. This secretive financial network allows the wealthy and powerful to evade taxes, launder money, and protect their assets from scrutiny. The leak highlighted how these practices contribute to global inequality and deprive countries of much-needed tax revenues that could be used for public services and infrastructure. Now, using information from the Pandora Papers, let's show you how offshore providers hide their money in 5 easy steps. Step 1. Pick your country. When it comes to hiding wealth, choosing the right country is a critical first step for world leaders and shady CEOs. The ideal country is one that offers a combination of financial secrecy, minimal regulatory oversight, and robust legal protections for asset holders. These jurisdictions, often referred to as tax havens, provide a safe and discreet environment for stashing away ill-gotten gains. Popular choices include Switzerland, the Bahamas, and the British Virgin Islands. These countries have built reputations as sanctuaries for those seeking to keep their financial activities under the radar. These countries also offer favorable tax rates, strong confidentiality laws, and minimal financial regulations. They attract individuals and corporations looking to reduce their tax liabilities, protect their assets, and maintain privacy. While not all activities conducted in these countries are illegal, these locations are frequently exploited for tax evasion, money laundering, and other illicit purposes. They also provide several key advantages. 1. Financial secrecy, that is, strict banking secrecy laws prevent the disclosure of account holder information, making it difficult for authorities to trace funds. 2. Minimal reporting requirements. 3. Legal protections. 4. Low or no taxes. For example, Sani Abacha, a Nigeria's military dictator from 1993 to 1998, was well known for offshore jurisdictions to hide stolen wealth. Abacha and his associates embezzled billions of dollars from Nigeria, funneling the money into bank accounts and investments across multiple countries, with Switzerland being a key destination. Switzerland's banking secrecy laws provided the perfect cover for Abacha's illicit activities. Swiss banks have a long-standing reputation for confidentiality, which made it difficult for international investigators to trace the stolen funds. By choosing Switzerland, Abacha was able to leverage the country's strict privacy laws to shield his assets from scrutiny. During Abacha's regime, Nigeria suffered from rampant corruption and economic mismanagement. Abacha and his inner circle diverted state funds into personal accounts, exploiting the lack of transparency in Nigeria's financial system. To safeguard these ill-gotten gains, Abacha needed a jurisdiction that could offer the highest level of secrecy and protection. Switzerland's appeal lay in its well-established tradition of banking secrecy, which dates back to the Swiss banking law of 1934. This law made it a criminal offense for banks to disclose account holder information without the account holder's consent. In addition to the secrecy provided by Swiss banks, Abacha also took advantage of Switzerland's favorable tax regime. By holding assets in Swiss accounts, he could minimize his tax liabilities and maximize the returns on his ill-gotten wealth. The combination of financial secrecy, legal protections, and tax advantages made Switzerland an ideal destination for Abacha's hidden fortune. While Switzerland is perhaps the most famous tax haven, other countries also play a significant role in the world of offshore finance. The Bahamas, the British Virgin Islands, and Panama are among the most popular destinations for those seeking to hide their wealth. Step 2. Create a shell company. Creating a shell company is a crucial step in hiding wealth. A shell company is an entity that exists only on paper. It has no active business operations or significant assets. Its primary purpose is to obscure the true ownership and origin of funds, making it an essential tool for money laundering and tax evasion. By establishing a shell company, individuals can create a facade of legitimacy, layer their assets through multiple entities, and effectively hide their wealth from prying eyes. A shell company is typically registered in an offshore jurisdiction known for its lenient regulations and strong privacy protections. These jurisdictions offer a conducive environment for creating and maintaining such entities, with minimal requirements for financial disclosure and transparency. Shell companies are often used in conjunction with other financial instruments, such as trusts and offshore bank accounts, to create complex structures that are difficult to penetrate. Viktor Yanukovych, the former president of Ukraine, utilized shell companies to hide his wealth and facilitate corruption. During his tenure, Yanukovych and his associates siphoned off millions from state coffers, channeling the money through a series of shell companies registered in offshore jurisdictions. One of his most infamous shell companies, Blythe Europe Limited, was based in the British Virgin Islands. Yanukovych's use of shell companies allowed him to disguise the illicit origins of his wealth. By layering his assets through multiple entities, he created a complex web that made it difficult for investigators to untangle. The shell companies were mere legal fictions, existing solely to provide a facade of legitimacy and to keep Yanukovych's involvement hidden. Offshore service providers play a crucial role in the creation and maintenance of shell companies. These firms offer a range of services, including company formation, nominee directors, and bank account setup. They are experts in navigating the legal and regulatory frameworks of offshore jurisdictions and can help clients exploit loopholes to achieve maximum confidentiality. Shell companies offer several key benefits for those looking to hide their wealth, and some of them are: 1. Anonymity. By using nominees and registering the company in an offshore jurisdiction, the true ownership of the shell company can be concealed. This makes it difficult for authorities to trace the assets back to their original owners. 2. Tax avoidance. Shell companies can be used to minimize tax liabilities by exploiting differences in tax laws between jurisdictions. Profits can be funneled through low-tax or no-tax jurisdictions, reducing the overall tax burden. 3. Asset protection. Shell companies can shield assets from legal claims, creditors, and political instability. By holding assets in an offshore entity, individuals can protect their wealth from being seized or frozen. 4. Ease of transactions. Shell companies can facilitate international transactions and investments, providing a legal entity through which to conduct business activities while maintaining confidentiality. The creation of a shell company requires that you choose an offshore location with favorable conditions for maintaining anonymity and protecting assets. Then register the company with the local authorities, often through a local agent or law firm that specializes in offshore services. This process typically involves minimal documentation and can be completed quickly. And what do you do after the company has been created? Well, that leads us to step 3. Step 3. Find someone you can trust. In the intricate process of hiding wealth through offshore structures, finding trustworthy individuals to serve as nominees for your shell company is a critical step. Nominees, who often hold leadership positions like directors or shareholders in the shell company, help obscure the true ownership of the entity. This layer of anonymity is essential for ensuring that the real owner remains hidden, protecting them from scrutiny by authorities, creditors, and the public. Nominees are individuals or entities that are appointed to act on behalf of the true owners of a company. They hold official positions within the company, such as directors or shareholders, but they do not have any real control or ownership over the company's assets. Their primary function is to serve as a front, creating a legal barrier between the true owner and the entity. Using nominees is a common practice in the world of offshore finance. It adds an additional layer of secrecy, making it significantly more difficult for investigators to trace the ownership of assets back to their original source. Nominees can be professional service providers, trusted associates, or even family members. Choosing the right nominees is crucial. The individuals or entities you select must be trustworthy, discreet, and preferably have no direct ties to you that could raise suspicions. An example is the Mossack Fonseca scandal, also known as the Panama Papers leak, which exposed the extensive use of nominees in hiding wealth. The leaked documents revealed how the Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca helped clients establish offshore entities with nominee directors and shareholders to conceal the true ownership of assets. One notable example is the case of Iceland's Prime Minister Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson. He and his wife owned an offshore company called Wintris Incorporation, which was set up through Mossack Fonseca. The company was registered in the British Virgin Islands, and nominee directors were appointed to obscure their involvement. The use of nominees helped keep the ownership of Wintris Inc. hidden, allowing Gunnlaugsson to avoid disclosing his financial interests, which eventually led to his resignation following the leak. Appointing nominees typically involves working with an offshore service provider or a law firm that specializes in these services. Here are some key considerations when selecting nominees. 1. Trustworthiness. The nominee must be someone you can rely on to act in your best interests and maintain confidentiality. This is often someone with whom you have a long-standing relationship or a professional who is bound by confidentiality agreements. 2. Discretion. The nominee should have a low profile and be capable of maintaining a discreet presence. Public figures or individuals with a history of legal issues are not ideal candidates. 3. Lack of direct association. To maintain the illusion of independence, the nominee should not have a direct or obvious connection to you. This helps to further obscure the true ownership of the company. 4. Professionalism. Many offshore service providers offer nominee services, employing professionals who are well-versed in the legal and regulatory requirements of the jurisdiction. These professionals can provide a layer of legitimacy and are often bound by strict confidentiality agreements. After you're done finding your nominees, it's time to move to the 4th step. Step 4. Create a bank account. Once a shell company is established and trustworthy nominees are in place, the next crucial step in hiding wealth is to create a bank account where funds can be securely moved. This step is vital for facilitating financial transactions, laundering money, and maintaining access to hidden assets. An offshore bank account provides a safe harbor for illicit funds, allowing for the discreet transfer and storage of wealth away from the scrutiny of domestic authorities and financial regulators. Offshore bank accounts are central to the process of hiding wealth. These accounts offer several advantages, including privacy, security, and tax benefits. Banks in offshore jurisdictions often have stringent confidentiality policies, making it difficult for external parties to obtain information about account holders. Additionally, offshore banks are located in countries with favorable regulatory environments, low taxes, and robust legal protections for account holders. Choosing the right offshore bank is a critical decision. Factors to consider include the bank's reputation, the regulatory framework of the jurisdiction, the level of privacy offered, and the services provided. Popular offshore banking destinations include Switzerland, the Cayman Islands, Singapore, and Luxembourg. Known for their strong banking secrecy laws, and stable financial systems. Switzerland has long been a preferred destination for individuals seeking to hide wealth due to its stringent banking secrecy laws. Swiss banks are renowned for their confidentiality, providing clients with a high degree of privacy and security. Opening an offshore bank account typically involves several steps. 1. Due diligence. The bank conducts a thorough due diligence process to verify the identity of the account holder and ensure compliance with anti-money laundering (AML) regulations. The One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB scandal highlighted the use of offshore bank accounts in money laundering and corruption. Najib Razak, the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, and his associates used a network of offshore bank accounts to siphon billions of dollars from 1MDB. The funds were transferred through multiple jurisdictions, including Switzerland, Singapore, and the Cayman Islands, to obscure their origin and facilitate their laundering. These offshore accounts played a crucial role in the scandal, allowing the perpetrators to move and hide the illicit funds. To maximize the security and anonymity of an offshore bank account, it is essential to follow best practices. 1. Use multiple layers of entities. 2. Nominee account holders. 3. Regularly move funds. 4. Legal and tax advice. This process includes providing identification documents, proof of address, and details about the source of funds. 2. Account application. Complete the account application form, detailing the type of account required and the expected level of activity. Offshore banks offer various types of accounts, including personal, corporate, and investment accounts. 3. Document submission. Submit the required documentation, which may include a notarized passport copy, utility bills, bank references, and information about the shell company if the account is in the company's name. 4. Initial deposit. Make the initial deposit to activate the account. The minimum deposit requirements vary depending on the bank and the type of account. And finally, account activation. Once the documentation is verified and the initial deposit is made, the account is activated, and the account holder can begin transferring funds. With the offshore bank account set up, funds can be discreetly transferred and managed. The account provides a secure location to store illicit wealth, making it accessible for future use while keeping it hidden from domestic authorities. The account can also facilitate international transactions, investments, and other financial activities. For example, Russian President Vladimir Putin has long been suspected of hiding vast sums of money through offshore bank accounts. The Panama Papers leak revealed that individuals close to Putin, including his childhood friend Sergei Roldugin, used a network of offshore entities and bank accounts to move and store substantial amounts of money. These accounts were allegedly used to conceal Putin's wealth and maintain his financial power. Step 5. Keep everything quiet. The final and arguably most crucial step in the process of hiding wealth through offshore mechanisms is to maintain absolute secrecy. Even the most elaborate schemes can unravel if confidentiality is compromised. Ensuring that all aspects of the process remain hidden from authorities, the public, and potential whistleblowers is essential for protecting illicit assets and avoiding legal repercussions. Secrecy is the linchpin that holds together the entire strategy of hiding wealth. Without it, all previous efforts, establishing a shell company, appointing nominees, and creating an offshore bank account, can be rendered useless. Authorities are constantly improving their methods for detecting hidden assets, making it imperative to remain vigilant about maintaining privacy. Secrecy protects the individuals involved from legal consequences such as prosecution for money laundering, tax evasion, or corruption. It also shields them from public scrutiny and potential reputational damage, which can be just as harmful as legal consequences. Isabel dos Santos, the daughter of Angola's former president, José Eduardo dos Santos, provides a pertinent example of the importance of secrecy in hiding wealth. Often referred to as Africa's richest woman, she allegedly amassed a fortune through a complex web of offshore companies, shell entities, and bank accounts across multiple jurisdictions. By maintaining strict secrecy and using professional advisors skilled in creating opaque structures, she was able to shield her assets from scrutiny for many years. To ensure that the entire operation remains under the radar, several strategies and best practices must be employed. 1. Secure communication. Use encrypted communication channels for all correspondence related to the offshore arrangements. Avoid using email or any easily traceable methods. Applications like Signal or encrypted email services can provide additional layers of security. 2. Limited online presence. Keep a low profile on social media and other online platforms. Personal information and activities should be kept private to avoid drawing attention. 3. Use trusted advisors. Work with legal and financial advisors who have a proven track record of discretion and confidentiality. These professionals can help navigate the complexities of maintaining secrecy while ensuring compliance with the law. 4. Confidentiality agreements. Have all parties involved sign strict confidentiality agreements. These agreements legally bind them to keep all information private, with severe penalties for breaches. Maintaining secrecy is not without its challenges. The global push for transparency and the increasing cooperation between countries to combat financial crimes have made it more difficult to keep illicit activities hidden. Some of its risks involve whistleblowers, regulatory changes, technological advancements, and many more. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching.